What's up to all the people? This is a TV episode 7. And on this episode, we're going to call it Our Identities. So, what do I mean by our identities? Hold on, let me fix this shit. Man, let's get swagged out. You feel me? But what do I mean by art identities? I'm gonna list my 4 artists, movement, like groups, or there's a groups are in there too. But this is gonna be like my top list for, you know, artists that have a particular movement. You feel me? They have a particular, you know, music language that I relate to, or that I take for myself to learn from and try to apply it in my music and also apply it in my everyday life, all my actions. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're a rapper, you're not just a rapper. People think being a rapper is just making music. Even people think being a rapper is just only consistency and always dropping music. When you're a rapper, it's a lifestyle. I'm not saying the things in rap that we're attracted to that are low frequency, like the money, the bitches, the clubs, the party. I'm not talking about that. Those are perks when you make it. When you're at a certain level, those are the perks of rap. That's some of the bearing the fruits of your labor when it comes to rap. But when you do rap consistently, like, people might think it's weird. They might think like, yo, like, you're still going, you're still trying, like, you should try another hobby. Like, I don't even take rap like a hobby, even though I haven't made it to where I want to get to yet. And I will one day, because press is going global. But it's a lifestyle. I take a lot of, by doing something so much and always focusing on that, it becomes who you are. Like, you get attachments. So when I say attachments, I mean, as a rapper, it actually gives you a lot of game. So like, when you're a rapper, like, you have a lot of wisdom about being aware of your surroundings. Like, rap makes you conscious and self-aware about present situations. Some people, when like they're dealing with things like that, they can only, you know, recollect from looking back. Like, when you're a rapper, in the present moment, you see exactly what you've been listening to, or you see exactly what has been pushing you to get to a certain level. You become more aware of your surroundings. You understand social things people do, manipulative things, or things that are good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so when I'm saying these movements, I'm talking about artists that stand for something. And these are the artists, and there's a group of them too, that stand for something that I relate to, that I put into my everyday life, or I've always thought about and made it who I am. Like, I got a certain kind of wisdom and game off of it, so I take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a student of the game at the same time. I know I always say I'm the teacher, hip-hop and stuff, and I'm the professor, but I'm still a student of the game. You can never stop learning anything in life. Like, life's gonna hand you curveballs where you think you know everything, and then God's gonna bless you with a certain plan, a certain work you have to put in to get to a certain level. You know what I'm saying? It could be any level. So when it comes to rap, these are the people. I'm gonna discuss why I rate their movement, what they stand for, what they do, their sauce, how they move. The first one, and this is no orders. It's not a top 10, 5 list about who's better or not. These are just my influences, you feel me, in terms of movement talk. I can talk about R&B growing up and the movement that I rated and what these artists did. But I'm going to just touch on artists that have a particular language, have a particular movement that I incorporate into my shit, into my music, and my everyday life. And, you know, like I said, rap's a lifestyle, so it becomes who I am. You know, I'm just learning. I'm a student of the game, so... the first artist, I would say, is Rick Ross. Like, Rick Ross stands for something like being the boss. Like, in my music, I took that in to mean, like, you can't let anyone tell you who you are. Like Rick Ross, before he even got into the game, he was ghostwriting for a lot of artists. I remember I seen on some podcasts, they said to Rick Ross that he's like ghostwritten so many records that we hear on the radio today that no one knows about, like classics. You know what I'm saying? So Rick Ross is about being a boss. He didn't get into the game like mainstream, you can say, or he's on fire now. He's away from ghostwriting till he was 30, right? And while he was trying to figure out his image or his like mantra coming into the game, he decided to call himself the boss. You know what I'm saying? So he influenced me in a way where it's like, I set the plan, I set the journey. How I want this shit to pop is how it's gonna pop. How I want this shit to be titled, my headers, my subtopics, I create that. I create my names, I create my aura, I create it all. I don't need someone to tell me who I am. I don't need a worker to tell me I'm not a boss. You know what I'm saying? When I'm about to get into position, but I have the mindset of a boss, right? So Rick Ross taught me like, it's all about defining who you are for yourself, and the world will also, like, if you believe in yourself, the world will also believe in you. So that like took that in. And he's always saying he's a boss. And in my music, I'm always talking about like self-empowerment to help the people around me. And that's kind of what that's really what a boss does. You know what I'm saying? Like on my grind, I didn't want to ask for no favors. I didn't need people in my ear giving me advice where they're not in the same field I'm in, because you're a hater. You're a hater. Rick Ross said you're a hater. A hater is someone that tells you how you should do what you do every day, but has no education or is not even in the lane you're in, but they have an opinion about you. That's a hater. A person in the game, and he like a rap genius, they're allowed to ask certain questions to the artist, because like Matt Hoffa, they have an expert opinion. They know the game, they've been in the game, so they can say what they can. Their opinion is valid. Not everyone's opinion is valid. Like your opinion is okay, it's your opinion, but your opinion could be wrong. You know what I mean? Like your opinion could be wrong too. So hold on, guys. Let me get some water in my system. Right now, I'm wearing the Nigerian flag. I'm a Naija boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm also from another place as well, but don't worry about that. We're discussing other things. You know what I'm saying? So look, Rick Ross, self-empowerment, I rate it. I put that into my own everyday life and me coming up in the game and me learning myself as an artist. So I made the definitions for myself, meaning how my path should go. I defined my life. I made a plan from beginning to end that I'm gonna do like I said I was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I don't play games with this shit. Like, it's not a flipping joke. Rap is not just a hobby to me that I do because I'm bored. I do because I'm a rap pop. Like in Africa, my mom says that in a way. Like a Nigerian mom, she'd be like, rapper. You know what I mean? I'm a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I'm a rapper. So when I go to Africa, they call me a rapper. They don't call me rapper. It's a lifestyle. So boom. So that's why I rate, Rick Ross. That's why I take his movement or what he stands for, that perspective of being a boss and defining who you are for yourself, and also reintroducing yourself in a certain way, or reinventing yourself and defining who you want to be and setting the plans and the schematics and setting the metrics for your journey. You know what I'm saying? So the boss, I take that in. So did I touch on everything with Rick Ross when it comes to that? Basically. So basically the next one is Tory Lanez. So why I say Tory Lanez is because just following his story, listening to his album, listening to his interviews, you know what I'm saying? Just following along with Tory Lanez's whole discography and his whole catalog and his whole movement and shit and what he always talks about. What I took from Tory Lanez is when you want to make it, when you have a dream and you're all in and you only see this dream as making you happy at the end of the day, really fulfilling you, you're willing to go through any adversity to get it. You know what I mean? Whether it be you going homeless and having to save bread. I don't know if you're saving bread while homeless, but maybe you're in the streets, you're homeless, but you're in the streets grinding, saving bread, can't really spend the money. I don't know his life story, but he was always talking about being homeless, and like when I listen to his music, he'd be referring to things like he went through a lot of trauma, and he had to get into a lot of shootouts, but he still wanted to rap. Like on his album, one of his albums, there's a skit where he's with this girl and he told the homies he wants to do this music shit, and they called him on some drill shit like, yo, pull up or we're pulling up on you, right? But he pulled up, right? But he still had it in his mind, no, I have a dream, I have a way to get out of this. Like when I was in university, that was my mindset. I was like, okay, I have to get the degree, I have to at least have a plan B or have something to fall on just in case I won't be as successful as I want to be in the future. You feel me? When it comes to music, right? But you know, like university was cool. Like it was a learning lesson. Obviously, it's a new page in life. But like university wasn't really my number one priority in my head. It wasn't like I wasn't like always thinking about education and thinking about like, you know, like, oh, I gotta like setting out, like really putting my mind 100% into, you know, university. And it's something that's so big, but I still had rap in my mind. Like, okay, I have to go to school, I have to get a certain average, but I'm gonna do music and I'm gonna try to fit music into my schedule, right? So I was like, I gotta do music as much as I can, so I have to make time for the music. But music is the number one thing I really want to do. You know what I'm saying? So with Tory Lanez, following his movement, following his music and what he says in his music, I took from it is like, life's gonna give you a lot of trauma, a lot of adversity, where you're gonna feel like giving up and you're gonna feel like life is lifing and you should probably just adhere to life terms. But if you have a dream, it doesn't matter what you go through. Always remember that goal you had. Always remember rap. Like, never forget it, no matter what happens. Even if you fail, I failed like 2 courses and I had to come back. Even if you fail 2 courses and you have to study extra hard, still find a way to rap. Like, rap is the number one thing for you. Like, that's it, Presley. Like, this is rap. I have to go to school because I have to have security. You feel me? Well, rap is the thing that really fulfills me internally and gives me that internal security where, like, I believe in myself. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a lifestyle. It's part of being a rapper. You have to believe in yourself, right? Anything you do, you have to believe in yourself. But that's one of the gains from being a rapper. You have to believe in yourself, even if life is telling you not to. You have to keep going and follow the music, follow your dreams. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what I took from Tory Lanez. You feel me? Just keep grinding and see the goal. The next one I would say is Flip De Niro. Now, why I say Flip De Niro is because, you know, Tory Lanez came into the game, even with Drake, they came into the game singing hooks and rapping their verses. But with Flip De Niro, he did the same thing, but he did it in a different way. Very subtle. It's a very subtle, different way. With Flip De Niro, and I like his style. Like, I like the way Flip De Niro puts the drip on. That's kind of how I drip too. Like, I match a lot with different colors if I have to. I'll match black with black, white with white, colors with colors, but I have a certain kind of drip. I'm more of a drip star than all these guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm a more drip star than all these guys. I'm a more drip star than Flip De Niro. But what I took from Flip De Niro is his music was like, you don't have to be Beyonce level of singing. You can have a certain pocket. Like, you can have your own sound even when you're singing. You don't have to always hit master notes like Whitney Houston. But you can always have a little splash, a little sauce to the way you say your hooks. You know what I'm saying? That melody, just let it catch the people. And his verses were hard, meaning like his verses, there's no melody to it. Like with Drake and Tory Lanez, they add a little bit of melody to their verses and they have a hook. But with Flip De Niro, his hooks were melodies, but his verses were hard. Like, there were like no melodies to it. It was just straight rap. So that's why I took from him. Like, you can have that duality. You can have both sides of the coin. You feel me? And it makes you more, and the people appreciate it more because it's different. You know, everyone's doing the same thing where everyone's singing or everyone's straight rapping, but he did it in a different way. So that's why I rate Flip De Niro. You know what I'm saying? I incorporated that in my hook. Like, when you listen to my album I made called Arise in Depth, that album, I told myself I have to make sure I have, every song has to be a sick melody. Like the hook at least has to be a sick melody. Like, I have to make sure I'm more melodic with it, and of course keep doing what I do with the verses. That's easy, that's automatic. Keep delivering the bars. But the hooks, at least get the women's attention too, or at least get the niggas' attention in the club and they're saucy, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I rate. So that's why I rate Flip De Niro. Now, finally, the last one. In terms of their movement, what they say, their artistic identity, what they mean, what they brought to the game, what they're bringing to the game. Beast Coast. I don't want to just say, like, Beast Coast is a bunch of group of artists in New York. I didn't want to just say, oh, A$AP Rocky or or Strong Joey Badass. I'm incorporating the whole Beast Coast. So Beast Coast are rappers from New York, right? So the Beast Coast members that are more the face of it is the Flatbush Zombies, the Underachievers, ASAP Mob, and Pro Era. And what they stood for is third eye shit. Like, seeing that media tells us what they want to show us. Like, that media tells us certain lies. You know what I'm saying? So they more looked at, you gotta see the world for what it really is, right? You gotta understand that, like, things are not what they seem, and they move like that. They spoke like that in their music. I speak like that in my music. Like, being more perceptive, like, be more aware of reality, what truly life is about, and what people that are in positions of power do to fool the people. So it's like a rat race in society. It's just a cycle of just, you know how it goes with this shit. So it's like society, the governmental corruption, the manipulations, the greediness, you know what I'm saying, that the government does, that people in positions of power do. They're very greedy. They're not really for the people, you feel me? They're really for their own agenda. They want to fill, and they control the people by making sure that people follow that agenda. So they have certain steps or certain rules that they do, that they implement for the public to follow, without the public knowing that they're actually being controlled, or they're being blindfolded to the truth, and they're not taking the blindfold off. You feel me? So these codes stood for third eye shit, realizing it, like, the truth matters, like that, you have to be aware of the truth. You have to be aware of reality. Like, my raps is like your reality rap. So I like to talk about perception. I like to talk about, real issues, conscious shit. Like, they're on their conscious shit. You feel me? So that's what I rated from them, and I made sure I incorporated that in my music, and I make sure I also follow that in my life in any way possible that I can do. You feel me? And that's part of who I am. So that's how I'm rocking. So this is the TV episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been amazing. I had a lot of fun. You feel me? This is TV7, our Identities. I hope y'all, keep following your movement, believe in yourself, never change, and make sure, you have your own identity, your own mantra, you have your own quotes. Like, you create your own quotes, you know what I'm saying? Like, create your own shit to follow. Practice what you preach, you feel me? And that's all. Peace.